Hello, my name is Doug Balliett. I'm a member of Acronym Ensemble and so delighted to be here on the SweetWater Music Festival. Very sorry we can't be there in person with Acronym, but very happy to meet you all over the internet. Edwin has asked me to give a little introduction of my musical upbringing and some of my musical life, which I'm very happy to do. I come from Massachusetts, and my earliest musical memories are at my grandfather's house, Robert Balliett. He was a musician teaching in the schools, and it was in his music room that I first, tried out the piano and picked up a trumpet and things like that. Later in Westboro, Massachusetts, it was in the public schools, like a lot of people, that I got started, first on the cello and later on the bass, which I guess is the instrument most people know me for today. When I was in high school, I was a fairly serious French horn player also, and trumpet, and practiced that a lot. But in the end, it was the bass that really attracted me. Something about the way it could play all styles of music, the way everything really needs a strong bass line. There were a lot of cool things about the instrument that really appealed to me. After high school, I continued studying. I applied to a number of conservatories, but in the end, I decided to go to Harvard, where I studied music and theory and history and composition and things like that, with people like Robert Levin, Jon Stewart, Jeffrey Goldberg, Elliot Geiger, John Harbison. These were some of my teachers that really made a big difference at that time. And I studied bass with Todd Sieber from the Boston Symphony Orchestra. During these years, I did some various music festivals that you audition for. You practice very hard and go away for the summer to play at Tanglewood or at Aspen or at the Lucerne Festival Academy. All really wonderful things. In my junior year of my undergraduate degree, I auditioned for the San Antonio Symphony, who had an opening on the first desk of double basses. I won that audition, so I took a leave of absence from Harvard and went and played the orchestral life for a few years in Texas, in San Antonio. It was crazy, and it was a really good time, and the food was amazing, and I wouldn't trade those years for anything. But after a couple of years, I started to think, okay, I've done this. It was a lot of fun, but I know there's a lot more to music. I was very interested in historical performance and listening to a lot of these great baroque ensembles. So I auditioned for Juilliard for this master's program in historical performance. And that's what brought me to New York for the first time. I studied Viennese bass and violone and double bass, and in general just learned this new language of playing early music. Different ways of tuning, different ways of phrasing, different equipment, really a whole new world of music, and one that I was delighted to sink my teeth into. It was also while I was at Juilliard that I met William Christie, who became an increasingly important part of my life. He has a wonderful festival at his home in Tiré, these gardens that he's built. And so I started going there, and I've been every summer since. And since then, I've started playing with his ensemble, Les Arts Florissants, as well. And I've met some of my closest friends and closest musical collaborators through that opportunity. So I'm very happy to have been a student at Juilliard. And when I graduated from there, I went ahead and joined what was then called ACJW. It's now called Ensemble Connect. It's sort of a fellowship program at Carnegie Hall, and it's a lot of teaching, a lot of outreach. I was working with a school in the Bronx, and a lot of chamber music. So that was a wonderful time, but it was all modern instruments, and I was missing the Baroque bass, and still, full steam ahead with all of the Baroque gigs. Also around this time, I started working with my twin brother, Brad, and we have a kind of duo project, the Brothers Balliett, and we teach together in the evening division at Juilliard. We give Beatles classes, history of rock and roll, history of instruments. We've also lectured together for Carnegie Hall on the Bruckner symphonies and things like this. So that was another important part of my life, as well as Acronym, which started around this time and has become one of the most important groups that I play with. I also play regularly with a group called Jupiter Ensemble, which is based in Paris and is run by a dear friend, Tom Dunford. And I recommend you check out all of these groups because we've all recorded CDs. There's a big Acronym discography to be explored. When my teacher from Juilliard, Rob Nairn, moved to Australia, I took over for him as the teacher at Juilliard in the historical performance department, the teacher of bass, violone, and Viennese bass. Can you believe it? I couldn't believe it myself. Juilliard faculty. I never thought I would see the day, but it's a huge honor and a delight to teach these students. Both my full-time historical performance students and the secondary students who are interested in learning this Baroque language. In 2019, I produced my first full-length opera, Gawain and the Green Knight, which we did on a church in the Lower East Side called St. Mary's on Grand Street. And since then, I have developed a relationship with this church and with the father there to be composing weekly music, weekly cantatas really, for each Sunday. And it's been a wonderful way to get to know the liturgical calendar, to hold myself to a daily creative discipline, and to work with a lot of great musicians. And we've been very lucky through COVID to have an extremely large space where we can safely distance while we make music. So that's a little snapshot of my life. It's been a life filled with music. Outside of music, I especially love reading, learning about history. I'm a bit obsessed with the Roman Empire, though I'm moving into the Middle Ages, and I'm crazy about running and exercising and skiing and swimming and anything I can, hiking, to use my body just to celebrate life and make music every day. So there's a little introduction from me. I'm gonna get my instrument and play you a little tune.
To show there must have been something divine.
you.